Hi everyone, good to be with you today. My name is Matt Miller and from Ditch That Textbook, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. We're going to be doing this session from the Ditch That Textbook Digital Summit. This is where we're going to get to learn from educators from all over who are doing amazing things in technology, pedagogy, student inquiry, and more. And today I am super excited we get to talk about Hyperdocs. This is something that has really just kind of taken the whole educational technology Google community by storm, and there's so many teachers that are using it, and so kind of wanted to get a feel for what the buzz is and how it can be done. And so that's basically what we're going to talk about today, is what Hyperdocs are, how they can supercharge your learning in your classroom, and then how you can make your own. And so we've got the three ladies that you need to hear from if we're going to be talking about Hyperdocs. And so I'm going to turn it over to them. Ladies, you want to introduce yourselves real quick?
Yeah, hi, I'm Lisa Highfill.
And I'm Kelly Hilton. Sarah Landis.
All right, very good. And can you tell us real quick where you are and what you guys do?
Yeah, so we all work together in the same office in Pleasanton, California. It's San Francisco East Bay. And I am an instructional technology coach. I was a fifth grade teacher for, gosh, like 20 years. And this is my new role now, working K-12.
Yes, and we're actually all like former fifth grade teachers. And I work as an induction coach for new teachers for K-12. And we're all here together, as Lisa said, and Sarah here.
And I'm currently a literacy coach, also a former fifth grade teacher, and we get to partner up in so many different ways, because it's never just tech, it's never just literacy, it's never just, so we get to bring all of our passions together, and that's kind of where Hyperdocs came about.
Very good. Oh my goodness, you guys really are all in the same office together?
Yeah.
We are.
What's that like?
It's so fun. So fun. When we're here.
We're combined a coach.
Yes.
So we have a little of everything. It's like truly integrated.
That's good. That is so cool. All right, well, I think that's a good place for us to get started. You said this was sort of where it all got going. So I was wondering if you could tell us just sort of briefly where this whole Hyperdocs thing came from, what the impetus was for it, and I'm assuming that it was something different than just trying to find cool new ways to use Google Docs in the classroom.
Yeah, so we got this job as instructional coaches, and we were having new issues and time to be creative, actually. I was thinking about that, how in the classroom you're so focused on your students, and once we left the classroom, we had this new avenue to be solving some issues, and we were kind of paying attention to this idea of all of the buzzwords that our teachers have to accomplish. Like between critical thinking, differentiated learning, and meeting their EL needs, and they want learning to be, engaging and project-based, and, the teachers are feeling like this is impossible. How can I do all of this? Oh, and then me, the tech coach, you have to do that with technology too. And we really sat down and we thought, this is possible. We can make this possible. We can make it happen. So then we started to play around with that idea. And how to really utilize and maximize the devices that we were having in our schools.
It really came about as well as just trying to make it seamless between the teaching, so that it was just the devices were not something separate that were in the classroom for a certain amount of like projects or time, or in order to manage students when I needed them to kind of plug in. Instead, we the technology to be seamless within our lesson design. And so we just started putting everything together in one place and giving the entire thing to the students. And Sarah and Lisa at the time were coaching already, and I was still in the classroom. So they were coming in and we were all collaborating together all the time, and really seeing this shift happen seamlessly. And the heart of all of it was just good instruction with technology. And that was what we were trying to do, so that it wasn't about the tech, it was about just teaching with the technology seamlessly.
I think if I add on one thing too, I think what we noticed was that so much of the technology use was really consumption based, where there's all these great, websites and I have devices. And so we would be so excited and we'd put our kids in front of a device and they were consumers, but we felt like something was missing. And that was like the child being able to create and
right.
Yeah. And so it's not about the technology, but there's like a human in front of that piece. And so I think what Hyperdocs did was kind of gave us a way to, it became a more student-facing technology application. So the Hyperdocs are created for the kids and their application of learning versus just sit and get kind of a thing. So I think that was for us a real shift and a way to accomplish all of the things that Lisa mentioned, whether it was like how to get our kids doing more PBL or how to use the device. You know, there was all these issues and concerns that teachers had, but for us, Hyperdocs felt like it still acknowledged the child in that whole process.
Well, and let's be honest, we were struggling with using textbooks in the classroom.
No, you're kidding me.
I admit.
Yeah.
Textbooks.
We
So-
kind of slogan.
We wanted to make our textbooks clickable because, you know, they wasn't giving us enough information. And so we were thinking, how can we tech up this textbook? And so that was a part of it as well, how we could utilize that technology.
Wow. I love it. There's so much that I love about all of that. First of all, teching up your textbooks. I mean, you know, that's going to win me over right away. But I really love the fact that, you know, you identified that there were all of these different things that teachers were kind of expected to do, or if you want to be a good teacher, you should be doing all these things. And it kind of brings them all together in one place, puts the emphasis back on the kids, integrates together all of these different strategies. I mean, I really just, there's so much to love about all of this. And so I think the logical next question there is, okay, so we've been talking about this Hyperdoc thing. And if we're not familiar, if we've never seen one before, can you tell us briefly what it is that they are and what they make possible in the classroom?
Yeah, so I want to share some screen with you.
Yes, please do. That'd be great.
If that's possible, because we have some definitions that we have a class that we teach, and we ask people to share what they feel the definition is. And one of our students, Carrie Wilson, she's on Twitter at It's My School. She did this hand drawing, and I really love how she defined it. She said that it's transformative digital lessons that shift the focus from teacher-led lecture to student-driven inquiry-based learning through exploration. And I think that sentence alone says so much, and that's the piece that maybe we hadn't said yet, is that we were really hoping to, as coaches, to change teachers from being a lecturer to, you know, letting it be student-driven inquiry learning. But, you know, people needed concrete ways to do that. Instead of just saying you should do this, we need some more concrete answers to that. And so I love how Carrie has said this. And I know you, go ahead, Kelly.
Here's another graphic from our online course that another one of our students created that we just love, because it really shows the metaphor for the transition that's happening, or what did happen in our classroom, created by Misty Kluser. And she has the SHIP, teacher directed, textbook driven, whole group. That's where most classrooms were. And then when we got the devices in the classroom, we were able to then really personalize instruction, break it up, flexible grouping. So then I love how her metaphor shows the different SHIPs and the kids working on whatever the project might be. And as Sarah mentioned earlier, creating and using the tools to now show us what they know. So this shift was happening, which led to defining what it meant to use a Hyperdoc in your classroom.
So we want to show you one more. Sarah is going to.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when we're asked to define a Hyperdoc, I know sometimes in defining something, it helps to look at what it is not. And so we originally were getting a lot of people saying, is it just a doc with links? And I can see how at first glance it might appear that way, but we wanted to make it clear that it really wasn't. And so one of our good Hyperdoc friends, Carly Mora, created this. Carly might know our good friend Carly. But we like to come back to this because I think she developed this early on because she was coming into the same questions. Well, isn't it just a doc with links? And so what she does is kind of share out just the differences. And so no, it's more than just a doc with links. It's how you're getting kids to apply learning. And a doc with links might be a multimedia text set, which may be part of a Hyperdoc, which gets kids exploring and might activate some of their learning and get them excited and that kind of thing. But really the key piece is that the quality of the Hyperdoc is really based on students' like application of learning and their reflection and whether or not they're sharing, and basically are they reaching those 4 C's. And so I know we come back to this graphic quite a bit because I know sometimes when you're defining something for the first time, it helps to think about what it is not as well. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, that's great. And oh gosh, I'm hearing your speakers.
You hearing us?
There we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, but what I was going to say was, I think that's great that you guys break that down there at the beginning, or whenever people start to say, isn't it just a doc with links? For someone who has never ever seen one before, once you open it up and you look at it first, you might think, as you look through it, that's kind of what it looks like. But like you said, it really is so much more because it allows kids to get involved in it, allows them to dig deeper into learning. There's a lot more to it, which I absolutely love. And as I was searching through, taking a look through this fabulous Hyperdocs handbook that I happen to have, I knew that'd get a reaction out of you. So I was checking this out, and I'm flipping through this to help me get some questions and just to learn more about it and everything. And I came to this part that I knew I had to stop at and get you to talk about a little bit. And it was this part right here on chapter 3, build your own Hyperdoc. And I see this little graphic right here. And I'm going, oh my goodness, this right here is blowing my mind. And it looks like this is sort of like the framework or the template to a Hyperdoc. And I was hoping that maybe you'd be able to share a little bit about that with us.
Tell me. That's funny because you're
hilarious because that's exactly what we'd hope to share with you guys next. So
awesome.
So we're going to go ahead and screen share again, and we're going to go back to that template on that page in the book you just referred to.
We just happen to have it up.
We just happen to have that.
How about that? Wow.
Yeah. Build your own
One
Hyperdoc.
brain.
Here's where you start.
So what's neat about this is this became, when we were studying lesson design, we realized that there were really some basic kind of cycles of learning that teachers were using all over the place. Some of you might be familiar with, if you're a science teacher, you might be used to the 5 E's model. So we created a 5 E's template. If you're a workshop model teacher, you might be using the workshop. If you're used to flipping your learning, you might be familiar with the explore, flip, apply. Well, we really did our own research around lesson design and came up with this kind of hybrid. So we just call this our basic Hyperdoc lesson plan. And we wanted to build a template that has all of that good fundamental teaching in the doc. So this has 7 parts to it. And again, this is just a template. This is just a launch pad, a starting place for teachers as they're thinking through their own lessons. But we just have in here like, hey, to encourage and engage students, what you might want to do is insert a quick little video, or you might have a really incredible image for kids to study for a couple minutes. You might have a quote to have a whole class discussion. So something to engage kids. And then you're going to move into the explore part of your teaching and learning. So the explore section might have a multimedia text set linked up for kids to go off, and an explore might be 5 minutes. Hey kids, explore this for 5 minutes, or it could be explore these in the next week because the following week we're going to come back to it. So this is a great place to kind of store all your good resources for kids to be exploring at their own pace. And then there's that moment in our teaching a lot of time where we just have to get down to the nitty gritty and do a little direct instruction. So the explain section is generally where we'll either say, okay, you guys put your device away, come to the carpet, or come, let's get serious. I want to kind of show you how to do something, or it might be a tutorial explanation video where they can kind of go back to it on their own, especially for those kids that need to go back and hear that direct instruction again. We may link up a video. But that explain section is just the nitty-gritty learning. The apply is generally one of our favorite parts because you can be so creative in how you get kids to show what they know. And this is where we really just feel like a lesson becomes transformative because this is where they get to use some of the tools available to us through the internet these days. But this is a chance for kids to just kind of either work individually or in small groups and apply the learning. Sometimes Lisa always reminds me that sometimes we have like a couple of days where we're just working on the apply portion of a lesson. So it's just one part of this overall Hyperdoc template, but we might spend a good chunk of our time on this apply section. The share is a great place to get either feedback from peers, or the teacher might jump in and offer their feedback, and there's so many different ways to do that digitally now. So when you look in the build your own section of our book, you're going to notice like, hey, here's like 4 to 6 different ways to get kids to share their learning with others. And so it's so neat because digitally you can do that outside of the walls of your classroom. And that was kind of one of the things that we are pushing ourselves to do more. Is like, okay, great. It's not just like stand and share in front of your classmates anymore, like one person at a time. You can have like an entire class sharing their work on a slide deck and then having everyone pop on, and already you've reached a greater audience that way. The reflect section is just a great opportunity for, we always come back to like what's good practice. And I know like to solidify learning, it's always beneficial for kids to kind of hammer down a reflection and kind of say back their learning. And so we always kind of try and make sure we build that into a lesson. And then the last piece is really for those kids that are fast finishers. They finish something early and they're like, now what? Or you have kids that you spark their curiosity and they're ready for more. And so you can link up so many great opportunities for extension. And so this is a great place for us to manage a classroom of 30 plus kids too. So I'm going to go ahead and stop screen sharing, but hopefully that helps you kind of understand just like our basic Hyperdoc template. This is our pedagogy at its core kind of what we grounded ourselves in. But you're going to see some examples that kind of work from this or work off of this. But this has kind of helped keep us grounded in our own philosophies around good teaching and good lesson design and all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't realize what all went into this. The fact that you really dug into all these different models and kind of created your own hybrid. I think that's awesome. And I mean, the fact that you could have, like you said, a class of 30 kids all sitting, working on these, but it's not just like working on a digital worksheet. They're collaborating, they're creating, they're extending, it's meeting them exactly where they need to be. And yeah, it's something that can reach all of these kids, which is awesome. And so I absolutely, the more I hear about this, the more it really, really impresses me. So now that we've talked about some of the basics, let's see, like you were saying, let's see some of those examples. If we're trying to put together what one of these looks like in our brain, maybe you can give us a couple of examples of some of your favorite Hyperdocs.
All right, and we'll screen share again.
And we're going to show just a couple, but we've linked up, our website, and obviously there's so many to explore. We're amazed at what we see from teachers sharing on Twitter and that kind of thing. So we literally, just for the sake of time, pulled 3 that are different just to kind of see. So here's one that's created on a doc. It's just Google Doc. We like this one because it's a unit of study. And this is one that really encourages digital publishing. I know one of the Common Core kind of standards was to get kids publishing digitally. So we built a unit on one doc, and it really starts with what is good video, and we look at commercials, and it's great because all your lesson design is just really built in. You can be really hands-off with this. Kids can go step by step. Hey, let's watch a few here, and then they can go back to it. What did you notice? Jot your noticings on the Padlet. There's a Google form. So all the different tools are kind of embedded into the instructional design. Here they have a chance to kind of watch. So here's a tech set. I've curated some of my favorite short films, and then the kids are jotting what they notice as they go. Then here's some small group, face-to-face discussion time. I think we try really hard in our blended learning classrooms to make sure that kids aren't solely working independently on a device, but that they put their device away and go have some face-to-face conversation. So that's kind of embedded into the design of the unit. And then there's some preparations, and then they have it kind of to make some decisions as digital storytellers. What am I going to make sure I include? Here's some drafting. So here's a space, just a very simple table, but this is a place for them to do some drafting ahead of time. And then you always got to throw some fun in there, right? So here's some storytelling, and then you can click here and it'll take you to a fire, and they can watch digital fire and just have that going in your classroom, and kids are moving around the room.
Oh my goodness, I love that.
Storytelling, to buy a live fire, so anyway, all these fun little things. It's not going to load, but you get the idea. So you got to
we'll picture what the fire looks like in our minds.
It's like, yes, it's like, okay, you jotted it down on your device. Now put the device away and go storytell to your classmates. And here's a fire to get you going. It only takes a spark.
Oh my God.
Nicely done. Did you plan that?
But I know as a teacher, I'm always wanting to have my examples, like teacher example in there, so I can put it right on the doc and they have it to look at right here. So here's my example, here's yours. Okay. So anyway, you can really just see the flow. And obviously this is going to be done over, a week or two. So kids can choose which tech tool or which web tool they want to use that's best fitting for them. And this is just one curated list. I know these change all the time. It's always fun to have the kids select a tool that's best for them at that time. And then good teaching, here's my checklist, okay, kids, make sure you do all this. And this is my way of getting to them without actually having a chance to get to them all the time. And then there's a chance to share it because we talked about that importance of kind of having a real audience. So anyway, I could go on and on, but this is just a Google Doc and it's an entire kind of 1 to 2 week unit around digital storytelling. So I'm going to let Kelly share one of her favorite examples.
That was so fun listening to you talk about that. I've done that Hyperdoc. It's so fun. Sarah, as the literacy coach, she designed that as one of our first ones. And then we ended up having a short film student festival. And it was amazing because, again, making that doc as the literacy coach and giving it to all the teachers, now they all have a guideline as to how to get their kids to print movies. So that was awesome. Okay, so this example is a little more basic. This is a Hyperdoc for PD, and we just wanted to show you a different way to package. It's on a Google slide presentation, and we just put the objectives. So with the PD was around learning spaces and thinking about your classroom and how to redesign it with our new 21st century as well. And then the second slide here is the engage. So we watched a video together and had everyone think about their learning space now. And this is a shift that's important too, because typically a teacher will show a video, but then they hold on to that video for the whole group engagement activity. So when you put it on the Hyperdoc, the people can go back, the kids, and they can watch it again, or they can reference it. Again, it's again part of that packaging. And then we spent some time exploring different ways to redesign your classroom. So if you're like a history teacher right now, I want you to not look at the content. I want you to think about what the pedagogy is behind this, because you could put like your topic, your engagement video, and then your links to your content on your exploration page. And this is, again, a mini multimedia text set just really laid out with text, images, and video. So you give everybody some time to explore those and start formulating their own ideas and inquiry about the topic. And then you say, okay, well, this is what needs to happen. And so now we're going to do some direct instruction in the explain portion that says I want you to really think about going back into your classroom and rearranging the furniture and how and why, and make some decisions around that. And then we give them time, we gave these teachers some time to actually play with a new tool with Google Draw and start redesigning their own classroom using Google Draw and imagining what they might do when they go back and learn the tool.
Really good, Kelly.
Right?
I like this
it's pretty fun.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to interrupt. I'm like, wow, I want to do this.
Right?
Yes.
I know. I was at a GAVE Summit, but I haven't done this with our teachers yet. So I was saying, I don't know why I haven't brought this to Pleasanton yet, because really we know that it's not just about the digital space, it's about the physical space.
Awesome.
So this is getting them to think about the physical space. Then they got to play with drawings. And then here's a little, like another little workflow thing. The way that I had them share was they put it into a shared folder, their drawings. And then they would go into that folder and comment on each other's drawings. So again, that authentic audience built in within the room right away. And then we did an answer garden to reflect, because you love collecting all the thoughts on an answer garden. It's really a beautiful way to hear everyone's voices right away. And then the extension is, there's an amazing book out there called The Space, A Guide for Educators, that if people want to, now I've taught this to the teachers I work with, if they want to learn more, the expert there has already written that incredible book. So just another example, and it's really laid out on this one. Sarah's is more like authentic, built upon how in the classroom. This one's really named so that teachers could learn how to create a Hyperdoc as well. It kind of had two purposes in that way.
Very good. Very good.
Can I share one more?
Yes, please do share one more.
Okay, so this one is really different, and it is, like Sarah said, I tend to focus a lot of times on the apply part. of a Hyperdoc and really trying to get people to get kids applying their knowledge in different ways. Totally different assessment. That's a question we get a lot. How do you assess these? How do I grade 180 documents now? So, commonly we will see people or hear about classrooms that the kids have to do a PowerPoint presentation and stand up in front of everyone and present. We realize that's really robbing our face time with students. It's really valuable the time we have with kids, and so it's hard to give that up. And so we wanted to let kids show what they know, but have choice. So we provide this document, and we let them choose. You can choose any web tool you want. Now, there's some critical thinking in there because you have to think about it. Which web tool is going to best show my information that I have to present? It might be a thing link, and it may be a presentation. And actually, sometimes I put on here poster paper and markers even. If they have a better idea, they can use that as well. We incorporate the idea of flipped teaching into this document because as a teacher, I certainly do not know how to use all these tools. Always, I remember Powtoons was on here, and it was like, I still don't know how to use Powtoons because I just stuck it on here and said, all right, kids, if you want to use it, I went on YouTube and I found a video tutorial that explained how to do it. And so many kids chose that one and just figured it out. I tell you, I don't even think they're looking at these video tutorials, but they are there if you need them. And to me, that's what flipped teaching is. It's just in time teaching. You need the video when you need it. And so they don't have to go searching for it.
Do you know who does watch those videos are the teachers?
Oh, the teachers watch them.
So I think that's really helpful because the teacher may not be familiar with that tool.
Yeah.
And then you can say, go ahead and watch the video tutorial to start imagining your students using it in this way.
They could, but they don't have to.
No.
I never got to
really
Powtoons.
don't have to. Yeah.
So the one thing though that really turned this around was how you collect this. And again, workflow is an important part of designing a lesson, any lesson. So digital lessons especially. So you attach a form here that this is
Oh, did we lose him? Are we still on air? Did we lose Matt?
Oh, we're still live.
Oh, that's okay. We're just missing him. I think we're still live.
We're still live. We'll still
Sorry.
go.
We
So
lost
we'll it says here that to turn in here and then click here to see others' projects. And that's kind of an important part to this is that kids can go in and see each other's projects at real time. So once you turn it in, it creates that authentic audience that they can.
We're loving this.
Yeah.
We're screen sharing so you can see us talking to Matt through the Twitters there.
So anyway, this design, people have recreated this in a million different ways, and it's really changed the way people are using their FaceTime in their classrooms.
Yeah. Let's just go on to. I know we lost Matt, but I'm pretty sure most people want to know, like, how would I make one of these myself, right? So if you want to create one yourself, we always say there's 3 ways that you can go about it. And the first way is to really start from scratch yourself. If you have a good foundation and foundational understanding of different tools and of Google Apps, and you're ready to start designing yourself, you might go through these 5 steps. And the first thing is, what's your teaching objective? So what grade level do you teach? What content area? How long will your lesson be? We recommend starting small and then growing. The example Sarah shared probably takes a couple of weeks. You can create a Hyperdoc that would maybe be used in just a 45-minute session or something. Specific outcome, what you want to do. It's really kind of thinking backwards lesson plan design. And then you choose your cycle of learning. Do you want to do explore, explain, apply, workshop model? We've kind of touched on those already. So how are you going to walk your students through, and then what end result and how will you be assessing their learning? And then you need to consider packaging. And really, Hyperdocs can be packaged in any way. We've found different applications we like for different reasons, such as a site is a great way to package like a long unit around a topic. We love slides because we can really easily embed videos. But you love docs too because there's just a flow happening, and you can really make different colors and tell the kids which section to go to using different design. Another thing is that every Hyperdoc creator needs to consider is workflow. For example, how are you going to push out the Hyperdoc and how are you going to get the learning back? And the more you do this, this is a series of decisions. This is why we talk to other teachers all the time, because we really want to have conversations about streamlining that as easily as possible so that the tech is seamless. And that's something that takes some practice. And then finally, our favorite part is designing. It is so fun to get your creative juices flowing, change the colors, to add images. It really kind of energizes the teacher to be artistic and design the actual lesson in that way. So that's one way. You can create a Hyperdoc by just starting from scratch. But let's say you want to just see some samples. So this is a Padlet that we have where from our online course, these are a bunch of different samples. And you can use this however you would prefer. But honestly, if you just see one that maybe looks intriguing or fits something similar to what you're going to teach, then we recommend you taking that doc, opening it up, and using your file, make a copy. And once you make a copy, you remix it and put your own content in there and make it fit your classroom. You might want to, we do encourage everybody giving each other some credit. So if you remix someone else's Hyperdoc, then you would say inspired by whoever that might be. I see that we have our friend back. Matt.
Hi, guys. Wow. Yeah, I just needed to take a little break and get some fresh air, but I'm back now, so.
You just went to create Hyperdoc really fast. You were so inspired.
I was, yeah, that's right. I just had to go tell some people about Hyperdocs, but I'm back, so.
Nice.
There was a textbook emergency.
There were some textbooks that needed ditching, and I just couldn't stand it any longer. So that's what I was doing, really. So, oh my goodness. Well, that shows how professional you guys are. That you didn't even miss a beat. You just kept going. So, 3 cheers to you guys. That's awesome. Okay. Well.
Where were we?
Maybe we'll tell you where we
were in the military.
Yeah. So what have we been talking about here? No.
Right. That what you missed a little bit was we were talking about how to go about designing one, and how there's 3 ways you could really start from scratch yourself, depending on what you know already about tech tools, or you can remix someone else's, which is a really great way. And I was sharing the Padlet, but obviously we have Teachers Give Teachers as well, and that's a really great way where people are tagging their Hyperdocs and sharing them. And once you create one, you would add it to that website, and then use everything you know about that lesson to name it, and then other people can go ahead and search and buy and get one from there and make a copy. And then the third way is templates as well. So I'm just going to quickly show you Teachers Give Teachers and how you can do that. Hold on.
We kind of talked about the templates before. You know, it's basically common lesson design, and we just took those pre-existing cycles of learning and created templates to get people going. I know we all come from different teaching experiences, and so what we wanted to do was just create a series of templates to really help people get started, and that's all that we did. So if you're on our website and you click on resources, you'll see there's a drop down for templates. And what we linked up for you is a template. So the first one here is our basic Hyperdoc lesson, which we already talked you through, and then a sample. So here's how it started as a template, and here's what it became as a creative writing challenge, for example. The next one here is Explore, Explain, Apply, which is one of our favorites if you're brand new to Hyperdocs. We love teachers getting started with Explore, Explain, Apply because it's pretty simple. And you can do one of these lessons in like a 45 to 50-minute period if you're like a secondary teacher. And then the Explore, Explain, Apply turned into that other example right next to it. So we have these all linked up. We have the 5 E's model. We've got the workshop template. And then we've got a fun Hero's Journey template, which was adapted from the 5 E's model. So if you're looking to get started from a template, all you have to do is open up the actual template itself. And then just like you would if you were remixing someone else's, just file, make a copy. And it's neat to see kind of what it becomes, you know. So we just have the thinking and the design in there, but you know, the cycle of learning, and people can really make it what they want it to be.
Yeah, that kind of goes to show that old saying that there are no new original ideas, that we're all kind of remixing each other's ideas anyway, right? So that's
Exactly.
kind of what this turns out to be. So very good. Well, I've got one more question for you real quick before we wrap up, and that has to do with teachers who are kind of getting started with this for the first time. And I wondered if there were any common roadblocks or missteps that they might run into that you can kind of, just through your own experience and the experience of others, maybe help them to be able to avoid. Did you have any examples of that?
Yeah, so I think something that teachers should remember is to always start with, I like the motto, less is more. And to not think that we teach like this all the time, all day, every day, for sure. I think you should try one semester. Just try one, or maybe one in a unit, or tech up something in your unit that you're just so tired of teaching, or you're just not, the kids aren't engaged, they're not alive with it. I think that's a good way to get started, and to give yourself a big break with it. It doesn't have to be this huge giant lesson like you might see online. It can be really simple. I think starting with low cognitive load and letting kids play first with a tech tool and get them used to it, and then letting them have that explore time. I warn people about skipping that, because then you're worried about the management when you want to bring in your content and they just want to play with the tool. So really giving yourself time is really important, and letting them play first. I think one of the biggest things, though, with new creators is really trying to see some samples and see past the links on the doc, and to try to see the pedagogy that's built in, try to see the lesson design that is built in, that we all went through the teacher credential program and we all know what good lesson design is. And when you just put a link out to a Hyperdoc, sometimes they could be judged as, this is just a doc with links, it's no different. But I think the pedagogy is kind of hidden. We don't know what's gone on in the classroom before that. We don't know what's going on after or in between, as we we do this ebb and flow between on tech and off tech. And I think that's really important to remember, to build in. I think if I could sum it up in one way, have that balance between, are the kids consuming or are the kids creating on this document? And that's a question I ask people to use to assess their Hyperdocs. I ask them to ask that, and are they following the 4 C's? It's another buzzword, but it really, really works. Are kids thinking critically? Are they collaborating? Are they communicating? And most importantly, are they creating on this document? That's something that is the foolproof. If they're not creating, then they're probably just consuming, and it's not as innovative as it could be. So that's my biggest tip when you're looking at them.
I think also starting with explore, explain, apply. When we do PDs on Hyperdocs, we've just sort of watched people learn it, and making a copy of that template, because the directions are there, has been a way that's been helping it be a great starting point for people as well.
And then if I could just add one tip, I think my tip would be to have the teacher, before they jump in to create a Hyperdoc, to think about what they want it to accomplish for themselves. So if you are the kind of teacher who, you just feel like you never have enough face time, you have so many kids and you're running around from thing to thing, maybe you just want to increase face time. So how is a Hyperdoc going to help you to increase your face time with your kids? So maybe you have 6 Chromebooks in your class and you're going to have groups of kids working on a Hyperdoc, and at one station or whatever, and then one group is just FaceTime with the teacher, so how is that Hyperdoc helping you to accomplish what you need it to do? So it's not going to solve every problem all the time. So I think asking yourself before you go to create one, what do you want out of this? What's your purpose in creating it to begin with? Do you want them to dive deeper into a certain topic? So maybe you have this well-crafted multimedia tech set, and you just want them to explore and be curious and excited about your topic before you launch into a unit. It could be that simple. And then at the end, they ask a couple of questions and you're just all right, I launched this unit a little bit differently. So I think before you jump in to create a Hyperdoc, what do you want it to do for you as a teacher first, is a tip that I would kind of throw out there for newbies.
Yes. All right. Oh gosh, that's great. Those are all good. My goodness. I mean, just through this whole thing, I've just kind of sitting back reflecting, at least for the parts that I was here for. I'm already thinking about all that I've learned through all of this, and I kind of had an idea of what Hyperdocs were before, but I mean, just A, what they are, and B, all of the you know, all of the reinforcement of the pedagogy and everything. I mean, you guys have like dropped some serious knowledge bombs in this call. I think this has been really good so far. So
So much so we're scared to
that's right. Yep. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I was hoping that you guys might be able to tell us where we can learn more about Hyperdocs. And I know there is at least one resource that I'm hoping you'll touch on real quick. So go ahead and throw everything out to us. If we want to know everything there is to know about Hyperdocs, source some, and there it is right there.
Here's one way. On Amazon, you could definitely check out our book. But accompanying the book has been something really fun. We're teaching an online course, and we have a new course that starts in October 3rd. And this course has been amazing. We use Google Apps to create, collaborate, and connect with teachers around the country and out beyond our country, actually, as well. And so the book is a 4-chapter book, and the course is a 4-week course. So we basically do a book study, and we have the teachers experience learning on a Hyperdoc each week, and they're in small groups, and they collaborate and they create together. And we just have conversations with teachers. All 3 of us teach the course together. Each of us will take the lead one week, and we each take smaller groups of teachers and connect with them. So that is really a great way to learn more about Hyperdocs. But then, Lisa, talk about all these things.
So we have Teachers Give Teachers on Twitter. It's at TSGiveTS, and there's 5,700 teachers who are now a part of that movement, and we're so proud of that. That's really the heart of Hyperdocs, is the sharing culture. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Facebook group. And we're even on Pinterest. We love to pin Hyperdocs and lots of web tools. Kelly has created a show, Hyperdocs on Air, that will be starting up again, but we have this nice collection of ones that we've had already. And of course, you can find our Amazon book, Hyperdoc Handbook, is on Amazon. There's lots of ways to connect with us, and we chat a lot on Twitter. We try to participate and connect people. I think that's one of the best parts right now. Someone will chime in, oh, I'm a history teacher, I'm looking for someone else to help me with this unit. That's kind of the most fun right now, is connecting with individual teachers. We love that part.
Yeah.
Very good. That's awesome. All right. So, and if for anybody that's watching this, if you're wanting to get kind of connected to some of those sources that we were just talking about, we're going to have links to all of those in the video, but also on the page in the Digital Summit. So lots of places where you can find the links to all the stuff that they were just talking about. So ladies, thank you so much for giving us some time, for giving us lots of stuff to think about, lots of good resources and everything. This has been really good. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
And thanks for all the work you do, Matt. We really admire
We
admire the work you do, and we just appreciate you getting those same ideas. I think we definitely have the same goal.
Yes.
Right, absolutely. Teachers giving to teachers. That's the whole plan, isn't it?
Yes, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.